All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on two really powerful tools of communication. You know, the kind you hear all the time in public life, but maybe you don't always spot them for what they are. It really all boils down to one big question, right? When you're listening to someone speak and you feel that passion, that energy that gets your blood pumping, how do you know if you're being inspired to do good or if you're being skillfully misled? Well, the answer lies in understanding these two ideas. They look similar, they can even feel the same, but trust me, they are critically different. And once you see the difference, it's kind of like a superpower for cutting through the noise. So let's jump right in with our first concept, demagogy. You can think of this as the art of getting people on your side, not by using facts and solid logic, but by tapping into their emotions and, well, often by twisting the truth. Yeah, the main goal here isn't to build a case that you can think about and agree with. Nope. The goal is to steer an audience, to manipulate them, really, to get them to just bypass their own critical thinking. And here's how it works. See, a demagogue will build an argument with some shaky logic, maybe cherry pick a few facts or twist them around, and then they fill in all those gaps by cranking up emotions like fear, anger, or even false hope. And here is a textbook example. A super complex issue, maybe about the economy or society, suddenly gets boiled down into a simple, emotionally loaded us versus them fight. It's an incredibly effective tactic, and it is classic demagogy. Okay, now let's switch gears and look at our second term, agitation. Now this one also uses emotion in a big way, but its whole reason for being is actually quite different. So you see the key difference right there? The whole point of agitation is to get you fired up enough to actually do something. The end goal isn't just to believe something, it's to take action. And this is so important. With agitation, the emotions are dialed up to 11 for sure. But, and this is a huge but, it doesn't automatically mean the facts are being twisted. The underlying issue could be 100% real, even if the language used to describe it is super intense. This is a perfect example of agitation. The statement probably isn't a lie. The children might actually be hungry. But see how it uses the intense weight of emotions like guilt and empathy? It's designed to make you feel a sense of urgency, to push you to act now. Okay, so we've got our two key players on the board. Now let's put them right next to each other, because this is where everything really clicks into place. So let's just zero in on a couple of these, okay? First, look at the primary goal. Demagogy wants you to manipulate you. Agitation wants you to act. Now, jump down to inherently bad. Demagogy is pretty much always a negative thing because its goal is to deceive you. But agitation? Well, that can be used for good or for bad. Think about civil rights activists. They used agitation to fight for justice. And that brings us to the real heart of the matter, the one big idea that separates these two powerful forces of persuasion. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Agitation is the act of turning up the emotional heat in a room. Demagogy is what happens when someone comes into that heated room and uses all that emotional energy to sell you a lie. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Agitation is the tool. It's the act of stirring up emotions. Demagogy is the manipulative intent behind using that tool. A demagogue absolutely has to use agitation to get anywhere. But an activist, or any passionate speaker, can use agitation without ever crossing the line into demagogy. So now you have the framework. The next time you hear a really powerful, emotional speech, you can ask yourself a simple question. Are they just trying to fire me up to act on something real? Or are they using my feelings to make me believe something that isn't? Knowing the difference, well, that changes everything.